Okay, CTS. This is the plane of the building. That's the plane of the building. This is the column you see in yellow with the yellow base, and then the column above it in the imagery from the lady filming. So we do see the yellow. I've now resolved, say this is the column, I've now resolved, and I'll go to the image for you. What I said is like a little artifact where we don't see something in front of the yellow, but then we see the concrete here and here. I resolved that to be that the deck, when it went down, so let's look at the top view. That when the deck went down, here's the top view, and this is the plane of the structure, right? That part of that concrete that goes down, it's all across this plane here, right? This is the nearest deck, if you will. And when it goes down, this column doesn't move. So part of that buckles over. Part of it buckles over as this deck goes down. And what you observe here on this side of the column, over here, is more of the concrete, thereupon that control joint that we look at. So that's what we see on the left side of it. To the right of it, we see the pad. As you're looking down the ramp, let's clean this up. As you're looking down the ramp with there, we see the pad. There's the pad, literal pad you're looking at. Remember, it's got a detail like this that goes like that. So here's the deck level, and then there's another level, but there's a little planter box here, lower planter box, and here's the about a 7-inch step up into the 111 structure, 7 inches reduced down to whatever after they added that other tile and they ate whatever 2000s. So this step down is a little less. But and then you step down some steps over here to get to the deck level. Here's that level there with the grass box where they took the core sample there, right about there. Which, let's clean this up. And this is a column. This offset is a little bit this direction, more south. Yeah, more south. Just a little bit of offset. And as I recall, more south. So your column is there, your teacup, where the washing machine, it was known at one point, is right there. Your column was inside there. Okay. If you look, this is the water. This is the ground, the level. We're looking at the floor level now. As you look underneath this pad, do you see any debris underneath the pad? I do not. This excavator, as you can see, as it scrapes, it gives you a flat surface. And we can look at the swipes it took. Remember, we had this elevation change. So as it took some swipes, this deck being down, it exposed, ripped apart rebar. Exposing the rebar as I pull in. I think we're looking at rebar here. This is the rebar. All right, and there's a rebar configuration. That's that detail. This is the lower slab. As you can see, it nice and shiny. Upper slab, nice and shiny, where they've skinned the tile off of it even. Okay, let's back out. So that tells you that this collapse, when it made it over to the structure, it looks like this at the end. In the beginning, rather, how flat it was. How flat it was. Over here, we have the slab detail. This is the internal slab. And then they had that little drop slab detail and like that. This detail here, I will show you in an image that we will see that if you're from the garage, you'll see smooth. If you're driving down this garage, you'll see this backside smooth, right? The surface is smooth. Keep that in mind, smooth surface. That's what you will observe. I'm going to show you that smooth surface. Going back to this column was obviously in place. We saw that in the photo, in the imagery. This was pushed over. She filmed down there. There's some pipes in here that I can show part of the system, the sprinkler system. But again, look here. Look at the thickness of this pad. What do you notice about the thickness of this pad? about the thickness of this pad. Okay, you can pause the video. It's a Columbo question. What do you notice? Okay, we notice there's not more pad engrossed in it from this side. So this excavator was able to rip this off beautifully? No, it was a step down. Remember, there's also a step down to this to the side, a step up. Let's see. The come out of the doorway, right? So let's clean this up. You come out of there. So right at, this is set back more, but 2930. This is the construction joint they use, not to be confused with control joint. This is where they made two separate pours. 2930 we see in the NIST image as totally damaged, and up here, and this shows that they're investigating it. But we know that it's nothing to investigate. 2930 is in great shape, so they shouldn't be investigating 2930. 2930 was okay. There's even no punching shear, so the deck pulled down at this location and did not pull down around 2930. In other words, didn't punch around 2930. Didn't transfer the loads over there. So this is the palm tree that was on top of the upper level by the gym. That's the palm tree with the palm branch, you know, in that configuration. Okay, so it shows that went down flat also. Then we have the planter box here that's also flat. That planter box, the planter box is just where I'm, before they tear this apart with the excavators. The column is here. You can see the head of the bush of the planter box there. And that's the one. This is at the plane of the wall. Remember looking through. This is from a man down in Florida, the engineer down there that talked to me. Remember I said I saw these look like spider rebar thingy? Look now. Look now as we look into there. There could be my spider rebar, and that would be the beam. That means that beam that went across the face of the structure, the drop slab detail. All right, let's see if I can get this wrong. And here's the deck. So they used something like this, and maybe like that. All right, remember I said there's a smooth section here. There's a smooth section there. All right, so remember I talked about that rebar. So before the building collapsed, and in that video, I can't find it. I really try to find it, but now I see the rebar. I can now state that, that's that there. It shows that it ripped off, and if you guys remember that video, now we have the rebar. The rebar we were looking at. Clearly nothing else, well, not clearly, nothing else impacted it before then. That was during me using that image and blowing it up and using other software, which I can't seem to locate anymore. If you remember me talking about that rebar, it was so weird, I couldn't figure it out. And then there we are. It's this one, which tells us that's that beam that goes across the face of the structure. It went down. So it was down on the ground. Remember the smooth now. I'm going to get back to that smooth. So this column is what we see in the video. It's still there. And it has that rebar. And I'm taking liberty to show us on this angle. But in reality, if you look at it from top view, and this column would be this column. This one would be this one. It would be like this. That explains this. And between these two is that detail. 1'6". Remember they changed it from 2'6" to 1'6". So let's look at a couple of my images here. Let's grab this 2930 first before we go to the other one. We'll work our way over to it. There's 29. This is what NIST shows to have there. Now let's work our way over 2930. So let's just look at this here. Now, I'm not saying all my notes are correct here. These are something I mock up, and then I go from there. That's that one with it like that, where she looks down there with the camera. That's the one with my spider, I call it, like a spider rebar. So it's showing you that went down there, and there's the 1'6" beam between it. it went down together. Remember, I'm going to come back to the smooth part. I'm going to show you that smooth section of there. I'm also going to show you a little bit of concrete on the other side. This is where we see the vehicle parked, protected by the control joint, the cover. Oh, that's way back here. Nope, 29. Yeah, so it's this one. This is 2930, right? Is that right? Huh. I remember a little bit. 2930 should be out here somewhere. Okay, so making sure I'm looking at yeah. So here's the I am looking at the right plans. Manager's office. Somebody's get a little. This is it looks like close enough. Yeah, I think this is the plans for that one. I'm looking fastly through it. All right, so right here is the plant, the palm tree. Over here, this should be noted. This was for anybody following. This was a 4-foot specifications. They changed that to 5 foot. They bumped it out, so that does matter as far as, you know, what did they get a change order for that? This is the step down here. This is where we see the material on the ground, right here. The smooth, remember the smooth, right? The smooth strikes right here with the machine excavator, and smooth strikes right here, exposing the rebar section in here. And this side, this face is clean. There's no rebar. It's between the two of them. They didn't take a saw to it. So that tells us that, aha, we've got another control joint perhaps. So maybe there was a control joint here and then one about there because of that surface that it's just, they were able to excavate all this away and keep that smooth. I don't remember them breaking out saws and cutting that. So it's a thought right now. So we see that when we look at this, I want you to see the elevation change. Here's the deck. And there's another detail there. They go from, that's 11 foot 10, the elevation of the deck. This is at 12 foot 9. The next elevation, this is inside the building. This is the unit 111, whatever unit you want to call it. So there's some elevation changes. So there's a smooth section there. And there's a very small smooth section there, very small. Right? There's a 1 foot 6, I believe it's elevation. Our deck inside is 9.5 inches, 9.5 inches thick. So we have 6, so let's just round this to 10. We got 8.5 inches, 8.5 inches of smooth that we would find. And that's what I want to show you. I think it's this part here, that smooth section. Then I want to say that this part came down with it also, part of the that detail above. I'll explain why. Here's another one I drew up that I was working on, and obviously at a dinner table. Just trying to figure out, you know, what I'm looking at, core sample, base, etc. Just so you know. So here's the palm tree right there. See it? And the box it was in. So that went down pretty flat across the face there. All right. Over here we have the column that's supporting, I think it's supporting underneath of this there, based on what I saw a fireman standing, considering he'd pick a stable place to stand on top of while he was doing that. I shifted this over from just about there to over a few inches there in a better image. Down here somewhere is the K buried in here somewhere. I saw it in another video. I put it up. It's got the rebar like that. So here's another view with the excavator and the pad like that. I'm sorry, I should have been a little more clean than that, right? But it's kind of weird to put it on an angle. So you see how smooth it is. It's flat on the ground. This is rebar from the column, but we don't see this rebar coming out of here. So we have that joint somewhere about here. Here's our other column here where I see debris here. And we see in the video debris like this. And when she zooms in, there's the gate up here. The compression, when she zooms in, compresses to make it look like it's almost at the gate. Almost at the gate? Or is it at the gate? Because I see the gate's bent. So I'm leaving that open still. I'm not closing the door on that one. So here's another face of the building. There's the palm tree, much better as you can see it. And its position is not, it's still straight up and down. And there is the building with the rebar standing proud, not bent in either direction. And you can see that's that K. Here's K. It's the K column. There's the column there. Over here again, it's the planter box. And you can triangulate where the bottom of the box is flat. So for the record, you can see the NIST or so let's look at the bottom of the ramp first. There's the bottom of the ramp. That's that column. Okay. I saw the NIST or the military guys there trying to locate the column. The one that's at the face of the building. And you see them digging through it. This is that H-beam. So when you follow the H-beam over, that's the face of the structure that they're trying to locate. So in this image, we're in line with the H-beam. There's the bottom of the ramp, the column, coming directly out from that. That's where the Army Corps of Engineers were just looking. And that's the column. It is, as you can see, rebar clustered together. So it did not get bent over from that point up. It's in pretty good standing, if you will. So here we are. They have them marking off the H-beam, as you guys call it, but reality, it's not an H-beam. It's it comes out, engulfs the kitchen area. That extra 5 foot, it's a lot more complicated than that. So there's that, and right there is the column that everyone says was buckled over by the deck and pulled it over. Army Corps of Engineer guys are inspecting it, inspecting the pathway, if you will, or that's NIST, one or the other. But there she blows right there. Now they were exposing as much as they can, hand digging. They had an excavator over there at one point. So, and don't forget that one is that's back here. One is the face, and the other is the deck support. So they're digging around by the face of the structure, and now here's the deck support. So in this image, I want you to see what I consider to be the planter box, and this being green would be the shrubbery that was inside the planter box. As you can see, it's green. It could be the planter box. The column is internal to the planter box. Ring around the rosy, the column goes down around it, which is what I theorize, especially because of the green. Being there. How do we get the green from the top down to this lower level? That's the way I get it there. And we see in the other images, we often see, it looks like hair, the green over there, but some of it draping down. And this is where I see green down there, and the shape, planter box. So just for clarity, understanding, this is where I saw the spider, like the reinforcement, somewhere about there. The column that I showed you was just to show you how the reinforcement acts. It's back here. It's out of our view. The one with that, it looks like that. This is that was just to indicate that we have the same display over here. I can't find the software, nor can I find the video I made that showed this. This was so evident. It was so clear we saw that image. Had a few people ask me for it. I'm like, really, I can't find it. Oh, but this is where I'm going to show you the, not in this image, another one, where this is smooth, and then we also have coarse above. So that's part of that transition down. I talk about smooth and then coarse on top as this fractures, falls down on top of there, and then this debris here. Better image to show you. I thought I'd show you this image. Remember we have the cracked planter box, and it's right about here is a cracked planter box. Now look at this, what I drew up here, showing the kind of the angles, the stresses, things like that. The cracked planter box image was shown to us after the court case it came out. So when did I make this image? Oh, it says screenshot made 2021, 7/29 at 9:35 a.m. Way before there, I theorized that this was the loading zone, or action, or dips, and I centered off. Well, you see what I worked on, centering off of that column area. So how's that for theoretically? I did not know about the cracked planter box. And yet, just looking at the drawings and removing and adding details, as far as removing the BMA and adding details of cars and loading and transitions, elevation changes, that this is where I speculated that it was that it was loading, that it was stressing from that air, stressing from here into this zone here, and sure enough, this is where the planter box is. Indicates it's a fracture and rotation downwards. And there's a crack here. There's off this wall, there's a crack. This is the way I have it. So what do you think of that? Let me see if I can find that one image now I wanted to show you. But I wanted to, also show you that I speculated that way back on July 29th, 2021, they knew nothing about that cracked planter box. Now here we have it. So this is important to switch topics and bring this up. That in his report, the Morbido report, they state that flat roof drains showing moderate corrosion, but generally in good condition. No scuppers were noted on the structure, and yet this structure has scuppers. So this engineer they sent out to do this, whoever it was, didn't even recognize the scuppers that were there. Is this the same person that said it was tree roots or brush roots that caused the fractures? I don't know. So what I'm going to bring your attention to here is that in front of the 111 unit, 111, we have a 7-inch step down like that. Outside of that, we have 1 foot 6 inches. There's a 1 foot 6 inch drop slab, which was drop detail, slab drop detail. The 2 foot 6 is what originally was in the plan. They changed to 1 foot 6 when they elevated the deck. So this would have been 2.6. It's now 1 foot 6, and over here it's moved out to here at 11 inches. So there's 11 inches here. So the deck is supported. This deck is supported here by this 11 inch. And then this is flat. And then there's 7 inches. Let me show you how important that is. And this is also over to here. So it's there's 11 inches there. It's much more reduced than out here where it's 1 foot 6. 1 foot 6 on the outside. Here is much more reduced at the wall. There's nothing but this slab continuously over to this section here. Continuous. They do put a pavers on it later, or tile on it later, but it's continuous. It's flat. This is 7 inches. They show a 7-inch step down, but over here we don't quite get that. Let me show you. We don't quite get it. I'm saying in the New York New York Post, they do the continuous across. and yet this should be 1'6" over here, 7 inches here, here, and then back to 1'6" here. They show it as continuous. All right, so that's not true. It's 1'6" here. Then there's this BMA style, and then there's an elevation change of 11 inches, and then 7 inches. All right, let me get you a better image. Here's a model I did and I posted some time ago where I show the pieces will be different. They will act differently sections here than over here. This is a 1'6" elevation change, 1'6" elevation change, and these are actually stepped back at different points. And then this is only a 7" there. But let's show you an image that might even confuse you more. In this image, this is the plane of the building. This is the deck. And we see right there, it looks like that. That's the deck. That's that elevation change. I said drop slab. Is not, I stated is not in plane. It's I stated here, set back, not at face of building. Remember the 1'6" over on this side is 1'6" detail, so it's like that. And the over here, it's way back here. And so if you look here, this pipe is flat. And then it goes like that, and then it's flat again, going underneath the underside of here. Let's look at that pipe. It's beyond, that pipe is flat. Here, flat. So the 7" transition into the structure would have been here per plans, right? 7 inches right there, 7" step up. But it's not there. It's not there. That pipe is flat. And let's do this. Hold on. Flat pipe going across the bottom here. And then flat here. Here's the plane of the building. That is flat. So where do we get our 7" step up? I don't get it. I don't get it because I don't see it. And so there's some more detailed changes here. I posted this image August 26, 2021. I say this is the upper level into condo living area, so I put it somewhere about, just like here. Where you're stepping back, it should be here. Where is it? Because right here is that step up from the planter box onto that next deck up. And we don't get into the building until the columns. It's at the building. It is here at here. What did they do here? Did they ramp it? What did they do? I want you to observe that this is an 11-foot patio and that's 7 foot. And that's that BMA deal going on like that. Let's see if I can get this one right. That's where we see the pipe right here go across flat. And then the structure is in plane here. The front face of the structure. So we've got this step up here. And the step up cleaning that up is reported 11 inches. 6 foot steps going down. There's over here is that little plant, the planter box deal. Just so you know, of course, we got planter boxes here that they never installed, or appears like they never installed it. So I thought I'd share with you my dilemma. If we look at this is the survey, it says 7" step down, 12'9" across these two, the outside of 111. So then let's profile that. We also have the sprinkler system I put in red. This is the column, this is the plane of the structure right here. And so I take a little liberty here. I put the 8.5 over here. That's the thickness of the pad inside. 13.6 elevation, I believe it is inside, reportedly. 12'9" is the reported outside elevation here. 7" step up to get into the 111's unit. All right, unit 111. I have the sprinkler system, as we saw in there, going like that, beyond the columns beyond the columns and right here, and then turning and going flat. And somewhere about, not scaled, somewhere about here, we see the detail where this is needed to bend to follow the underside. And this is where we see all of the water damage and etc. underneath the roof. Problem is, the top of that is 12'9" reportedly. Top is 12'9". How do I get a flat ceiling over here coming into the structure right there? How do you get that step up? That pipe is flat here underneath the ceiling. Where's the step up? How does that take place? I just can't do it. I can't have this at 12'9", and then have that step up. Well, 12'9" plus 7-inch step up is not 13'6", right? The inside elevation. 12'9" and 7 inches. Oh boy, is 13'4" internal. 13'4" would put it 12'9" plus a 7-inch step up, 13'4". But the 12'9" is also with the stone, perhaps, with the pavers they added. With the pavers they added. Nevertheless, I'm still at 13'4", not 13'6". I think the internal pads are supposed to be 13'5". Nevertheless, I can't make this work. If I do reverse, if I go 13'6", then take away 7 inches, I'm at 12'11". So this should be 12'11". If the interior is 13'6", I should be at 12 foot minus 7 inches. I should be at 12 foot 11 inches, not 12'9". It's like, I don't know how they're doing this math here, but it's quite aggravating to me to try to reverse, to verify measurements, because they don't work out for me. They don't work out where I got no pad at all. I've got the sprinkler system going flat against the ceiling, so that's an issue. Beyond the plane of the wall, beyond the plane of the structure, which is indicated here with the, let's change the colors, back that up, go to red. The sprinkler system beyond the plane of the wall. The step down here goes this direction, but we know this is the step down here. It's 11 foot back. I don't see, doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I don't see an extra step, an extra 7 inches here, where we go like that and then 7 inches and then make the next step up. Now, we'll go to the garage walkthrough video. I've done that already. All I see is this, see that fine line here? It looks continuous. I'll move it now. It looks continuous. It doesn't look like a step up. So, very confusing about where. Because the condo, the transition is supposed to be here. Into the structure. Very confusing. And if you remember, I did the offsets. And this is where the planer box is. Let's see if I get that right. Yeah. And this is where that fracture shows. But I talk about it, about how you look at it. Here's a 50 degree or 14.6, however you look at it. And I just show it is very, very stressed, right? Very, very stressed, because it's out of rectangular array, right? It's out of bounds. And there's no skewed steel to help take it. So this would make sense why I picked on that in the earlier part of this video. This particular stressed zone, which is indicated by the out of plane planer boxes showing the deck dipping, in that direction. And our column here is supporting. And we see no planter grass growing through here. It's, really roots, I mean. So this is where we have our rough, approximately right here is the column. And when this goes down, it puts the concrete and the beam across, across it on the floor. But this is where the stresses are dipping. The dip's down here, the butterfly, as I call it. It's down there, and it's also back there with the wall. And then we get a fracture that comes from, is it this one? Working its way back towards the 111. Might be this one. I think it's this one, though. So here it is here. Remember the planer box was up here a minute ago. And there's that fracture line. It goes like this back towards the column. Number 75, obviously. And that's your rotation. As you can see now, it's down on the ground, and you don't see it pull it, the roots being part of the breaking this apart. It didn't even displace the roots. The plants. It didn't tear them, rip them apart, since they were the ones obviously engulfed, engaged in all this wall. I'm being facetious. It's an untruth that the roots did that.